Hey, shalom, 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 Akim. Another edition of Spiritual Thoughts in Transit. Before I begin, of course, like always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Barakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that continue to rule very well to this very day, that's feeding the flock to the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And also, as well, likewise, shalom, and much due honors to the hopefully elect. You are sincere Akim, Tazadakim, the Akim that believe that's tuning into the lessons and the men of Great Millstone, and also giving forth your diligence to make your calling election sure, in faith, in truth, and sincerity, and also in all charity. Of course, again, there's another edition of Spiritual Thoughts in Transit. There's, of course, like always, going to the Spirit on current events of what's going on today, and also as well just to land back off the Spirit in which we were going into near the end of the camp concerning, the situation that happened and, the situation is going down in Dallas, and of course, like always, as we watch the prophecies continue to unfold, it's going to, basically the things that we're seeing right now is going to spill over to the rest of the neighboring cities that are here in America. And, really the things that are happening now is a precursor to what's about to come down the pipeline. And like we always say, it's going to basically end up in the city near you. Okay. And, really these things that are happening, especially the things that happened back, some years back concerning Venezuela and other parts of the world, which there you see unrest and chaos. The same thing was going to happen here on the soils of America. America is not too far from reaching that point to where the things that you see around the world is going to happen here. Okay. And rightfully so, because this place, the rulership that you see now, it has an expiration date. Okay. And very soon you're about to see this place expire right before your very eyes. Okay. But like I said at the beginning, really just to land back off the Spirit concerning the famine, in which, that is a major plague that the Lord uses to really humble you people. Okay. For I'm talking about the people that have fought against Yahweh Shemel Shai, the people that have rebelled against Yahweh Shemel Shai and his men, and the prophets of the Lord. The Lord sends down famines to judge a certain kingdom and nation. Okay. Now, if you look in times past, in which you had, case in point, you had that happen in the land of Egypt, in which during that time we was about to come out of the land of Egypt and out of the land of our captivity, and the Lord has set down certain plagues, in which one of the plagues involved famine, because during that time, they were running out of supplies. Okay. And also as well, you saw how the Lord had turned the water into blood, how he sent down other plagues as well on the land of Egypt. And guess what? Pursuant to 2nd Esdras, in the chapter where it speaks about the Lord smite Egypt with plagues, guess what? The Lord, once again, is going to smite Egypt again with plagues as before. Okay? And like I mentioned before, one of the major plagues that took place in the land of Egypt was the famine. So guess what? Now, in this city, in which America is known as a city, this city, which is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt, is also going to be smitten with plagues as before. Like again, like it says in the book of Second Esdras. Okay, because being stricken with famine, that is and I believe the Ak brought it out in the camp as well, is that basically that's a strategic military strategy in which the Lord is known as a man of war. Okay, so the Lord being a man of war, that is the person, that's the entity that has every single military tactic in the book. Okay, basically every single military tactic that you witness or have seen and that you know about came from Yahweh Shimon Shai. So in this time, the Lord's going to use one of the most pivotal military strategies concerning this place and just cut off the supplies. Okay, but at the same time, it's going to humble these people, man. Okay, because these people, they take great pride in eating and drinking and partying and reveling and riding. All that's being taken away. The Lord already took away the majority of the spirit of being in riding. The Lord has allowed these certain places to go through a major lockdown, and guess what? Now that same vibration of partying and riding, that's being taken away. Okay, case in point, I believe it was a certain individual that I was listening to for the past week, and he was mentioning Las Vegas. Okay, and he said that when he went to Las Vegas, he noticed that Las Vegas was not as lively as it was before. Las Vegas no longer had the same vigor as it did before. Before you had this so-called pandemic. But when he paid a visit to Las Vegas, he noticed that it was almost empty. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure the brothers from Las Vegas can vouch for that fact or for that notion. But that goes to show you that the Lord is taking away. Has taken away the spirit of America. All right, the Lord is slowly but surely, He is removing certain what's the word I'm looking for? He's removing certain pivotal attributes that America had. Okay, He's removing certain attributes that stood out, that made America look like the greatest place to be. Now He's taking that away. Okay, the things that made Babylon the Great beautiful in the sight of the nations and made her look enticing to the eyes, now that's being taken away. Okay, and again, going back to what I was speaking about earlier, in which we ended off at the camp, or the topic that we ended off with at the camp, was that this place is going to be stricken with severe famine. Okay. No longer is going to be a day to where you can just go up to a drive-thru and just order whatever you want, or just go online and make an order for takeout, or have it delivered to your home. Okay, all that's going to be done away with, man. And it only takes one major event to cause that to happen. Because America is poised and prepared to be taken. Okay, why? Because, and that's one of the things I don't believe we brought out in the camp, but is that basically with the Lord, the situation that the Lord has it is that whenever a people is at the peak of pleasure, right, or is at the highest level of pleasure, that's when a certain basically people are prepared to be taken. That's at your most vulnerable. Okay, so at the height of pleasure, that's the time when you're most vulnerable. because you don't have your antennas up, so to speak. You don't have the awareness and the alertness that you once had before you was involved in that same pleasure. And that's why the Lord has allowed this place and allowed these, has allowed these people to partake in that pleasure. And now these people are prepped to be taken and destroyed and devoured. Okay? Same thing with, like it says in the scriptures, concerning the harvest. And we are approaching that time of harvest to where, this place is ripe and ready to be harvested. Okay? It's ready to be harvested and thrown into the winepress of the Lord. Okay? Now, if you read in Revelations concerning that winepress, once this place was harvested and thrown into the winepress, out of the winepress came what? Blood. Okay? And that was to signal or to show you that great bloodshed is going to take place in this land. Okay? It's going to be a lot of bloodshed in that time to come. And it's going to be amplified during the time of famine. Okay? And like we brought out in the camp as well, 2nd Esdras, I believe chapter 15, where it speaks about that, where it says a man is going to basically invade one another for the lack of bread. Because whenever you come into a point to where you're in starvation mode, that's when you're apt to do anything and get anything that you can put your hands on, man. All right, you're in desperation mode. That's what I meant to say. Okay, but once you're starving and you go into desperation mode, and once you go into desperation mode, whatever you can find, that's what you're gonna put inside your stomach. That's why cannibalism is gonna return, and it's gonna come back in a big way. And guess what? The majority of our people, Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're all going to be a part of that. Okay? Why? Because, history, as we know it, is repeating itself. Okay? Why? Because the things that happened before time are now happening again, pursuant to Ecclesiastes, which says the thing that have been, which is now, all right? And there is no new thing under the sun. Okay? So the things that have happened before time, in time of history, is gonna happen again. Okay? It's gonna happen once again, and also as well, if you look into history and what was going on during the time when Israel was being persecuted. All right, they were driven forth into the. They were driven out, and also you had certain ones that couldn't leave. All right, case in point, Masada. All right, and during the time of Masada, you had what? You had cannibalism. Cannibalism was at an all-time high during that time. Okay, why? Because the Romans had cut off supplies that were going towards our people. Okay, and eventually they died. All right, why? Because of the lack of supplies, the lack of food, water. All right, to the point where they just ended up dying, man. Okay, so those same individuals that were there during the time of Masada, guess what? They're gonna experience that same event. Okay, the supply is going to be cut off from them, and they're going to have to resort to eating one another. Okay? And that's the point that where we at right now. Okay? Because this land, America, has sinned greatly against Yahweh Shimon Shai. All right? So these people shouldn't think it strange that the Lord is causing something as severe as a famine to come upon America. All right? And rightfully so. Because, again, the Lord has been observing this place, America, for as long as you can conceive, man. But now the Lord is about to spring forth into action and to start amplifying the plague. That's why if you read about the famine, right, it says that the Lord is going to increase the famine. All right, because now that's the reason why you have GMOs, genetically modified foods that are being pushed out towards the people. Okay, so really, if you look at it, it's already a famine on a smaller scale. But guess what? Like the scriptures say, the Lord is going to increase that famine. So what's going to happen is that the same food that these people indulge in, that's going to be taken away. Okay, and that's going to be a form of the Lord increasing that famine. So it's going to be at an all-time high, to the point to where they are going to resort to cannibalism. They are going to resort to invading one another and to spoil each other just for the sake of eating. Okay, because that's one of the things that Babylon the Great pushes out concerning is that what they sell to the people is sex, right? And another thing they sell to the people is food. Okay, bread and circus. Bread, which is a representation of food, and circus, which represents the entertainment. Okay, because that is feeding into the necessities of the flesh. Okay, because the necessities of the flesh are for what? For to eat, to drink, and to reproduce. Okay, and that is what America pushes: eating, drinking, and reproducing. Well, now we're at the point to where reproducing is not even looked at anymore here in America. Now they have it to where you can go to an abortion clinic and just have an abortion, right? Or have certain things set in place to stop having children, and this is all part of the plan. This is all part of the algorithm that I always bring up, in which this is an algorithm. Okay, it's all just certain steps to accomplish a certain goal. Okay, so that's why these things are set in place. So when it comes to eating and drinking and reproducing, all right, basically the reproduction part is just these people just indulging themselves into copious amounts of sexual pleasures. Okay, that's why one of the major industries, I'm not even sure if YouTube is even going to keep this video up, man, going into this. But the P industry, all right, I'm just going to give it an acronym. The P industry, right? The letter P, which we already know what the P represents. The P industry is also another major business. Okay, and they make copious amounts of money by shooting certain, basically just shooting, man, putting out that content. Okay, and that's what you see now is easily accessible. You don't have to go on there, have to be faced with a charge just to, to view something. Now you can just go on there and just pull it right up, man. And that's how easily accessible they made that towards the people. Okay, now same thing with food. Okay, food is easily accessible. All right, you can go down in any corner, and you can go down the highway. You can just turn off on the highway and just eat something. Go, stop by a fast food restaurant and eat something. Okay, you can just walk down the street to your local convenience store and there'll be food there. Okay, there's a store on every corner, man. So they made it to where, you wherever you turn, that's where you'll see the people indulging in, man. No matter where you turn to, you're gonna see something there that's going to please the flesh, and that's why America, all right, is looked at as the great whore. Okay, because a harlot is going to resort to pleasing the flesh. That's the job of a harlot. The job of a harlot is to please the flesh. Okay, so that's why these other nations, when they look at this place, they see it was one time to where they saw great value in Babylon the Great. Okay, that's why the scriptures speak about in Revelations that the merchants of the earth were made rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so this place perpetuates riches, having some sort of status. Okay, which is what the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. Okay, which that's what the Lord abhors, man. Okay, isn't that same? This is the same scripture where it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world." Okay, and that scripture in itself is twofold. Okay, because not only is it talking about this place America, which is again Babylon the Great, and the things that are in it, but also as well 2/3 of our people, because 2/3 are fully indulged in this current system. Okay, and 2/3 of our people, which make up the majority of our nation, they're right now their vibration is on the wickedness. Okay, they are far gone from the ways of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Now their ways are ways of the Edomites. Okay, now they have become Edomite citizens, man, or should I say Babylonian citizens? Okay, because that's all they know. All they know is being in America. All they know is Black History Month, which we're in the middle of right now. That's all they know, man. Anything else other than that, they don't know. That's why it's written in Jeremiah chapter 4 concerning our people, saying that our people are foolish and sottish. Okay, and they are wise to do evil, and to do good they have no knowledge. So in the ways of good they have no knowledge of, and they don't understand. Okay, and they can't understand it. All right, that's why again I got to quote Isaiah chapter 6 verse 9, is that the Lord spoke about the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 6 verse 9, saying make the heart of his people fat and make their ears heavy. Okay, and shut their eyes. And that prophecy is being played out right now. Okay, the eyes of our people are shut, and their ears are heavy, and they are dull of hearing, and they can't see. Okay, and what is that they cannot see? All right, they can't see the prophecies. Okay, they can't see what's about to happen in the near future, and they can't. And the form of them not being able to hear is them not being able to understand. All right, they can't understand the prophecies which is in this book. Okay, so therefore that's why they're going to be overtaken in that day, and it's going to be no excuse. Okay, because it's already it's been predestined. Okay, they already been predestined to that condemnation. That's why the scriptures say that their conscience has been seared with a hot iron. Okay, when your conscience is seared with a hot iron, you cannot remove that, man. Okay, when something has been branded, all right, because that's what it means to have your conscience seared with a hot iron. You're basically branded with a mark. Okay, and that's why when we go into the mark of the beast, it's very easy to be understood. Okay, in which we know the mark of the beast is talking about the microchip. Okay, but is more than just taking the chip. Okay, or should I say it's deeper than taking the chip. Okay, because taking the chip is taking the mark of the beast. Okay, when you read Revelation chapter 13 verse 16 concerning the mark of the beast, that's talking about the microchip. So accepting the microchip, all right, is a form of our people, because the majority of our people are going to take it. It's a form of them being the property and the product of these Edomites. Okay, and also when you go into that word mark, you go into the Greek word charagma. Okay, and the word charagma also breaks down to the definition of something that's being branded. Okay, Same thing that you do with cattle. Or when you have certain property, you brand it. Okay. When you have cattle, you brand it. You basically have your own iron fashioned in a certain way and heat it up, and that kettle's branded. Now, when it comes to products, basically that is your product. Okay, something that's branded and something that's sealed with your initials. Okay. Now, in the case of the mark of the beast, these people, they're going to be sealed for destruction. All right, they're going to be sealed under these Edomites. Okay, they're going to be officially put under the banner of Esau. Okay, that's the proverbial final nail in the coffin, the mark of the beast. Okay. Now, going back to what I was speaking about concerning that conscience being sealed with a hot iron. Okay, basically that's the Lord sealing their minds to tune with wickedness, man, or to be attuned with wickedness. So to the point to where they can't escape. Now, that in itself, that lets you know that Yahweh Shimon Shah is not playing, man. That he's a power to be feared, man. Okay, you have a power that's able to have your conscience and your mind sealed and to think a certain way. And that's why these Edomites, or should I say the bankers, are trying to reenact or to mimic the power of the Lord by controlling the minds of the people. And these Edomites have done that by way of their media. Okay? Which is what? The certain news media, mainstream news media, all right, entertainment, certain trends that they set, in which we touched up on that a little bit at the camp concerning trends. All right, basically the bankers, they put out certain trends to the people. They look at that as being looked at as high esteem, so they take part in that and think that they're on some sort of level, not knowing that the bankers are conditioning their minds to think and act a certain way. Okay. And since they put out the media, all right, now they're seeing that's no longer, working anymore. That was a form of Esau's deception. Because when you go into the word media, it goes to the word medium, which deals with witchcraft. All right. Because mediums were used as something that, to convey, certain incantations or spells to have people. It's like text message came in. It basically put something out there to perpetuate, certain ways of thinking. Okay, so now that's the same way with the bankers. They do the same thing with their media to have the people thinking and conduct themselves a certain way. All right. Now, like I mentioned before, now they're seeing that that's no longer working anymore because you got the prophets of the Lord. Now they have no choice but to move forward with doing it by force. All right. And what they're going to use to do that is the microchip. Okay. And the Lord is moving them towards that direction to do that. Okay. So it's only a matter of time before Esau just throws caution to the wind and just pushes out the microchip and mandate it. Okay. It's going to get to a point where, hey, in order for you to eat, I was going to again concerning the famine, in order for you to eat, you have to take the chip. Okay. Now, that's going to play a big role because our people, Israel, they love to eat, man. Okay. I'll give you an example, man. When Yahweh Shah was teaching, when he was in the flesh, and he was on the earth, and he was teaching, our people, there was a certain time where they were following him, and they were being fed. Okay. When they saw the miracle in which Yahweh Shah performed, which was multiplying the fish and the loaves, okay, what they were looking at was, oh man, look at all this food. All right, we can eat all this and just continue to eat, and we'll be all right, you know. But they weren't paying attention to the fact that Yahushua just created a miracle. All right, he took something that was running low, and basically he took something that he took something and multiplied it. Okay, but again, they weren't looking at that. They weren't looking at the fact that he created that miracle. They were looking at just the food. So now, by that same token, these people are going to be overtaken by that same thing. In other words, since they weren't worried about anything but eating at the hands of Yahushua, guess what? They're not going to be able to eat anymore. Okay? That pleasure that our people love to take part in is going to be taken away. Okay? Another scripture that also outlines that and show you that our people love to eat is Deuteronomy, where it says our people wax fat and kick. Okay? So they're kicked back and they're fat, man. All right? When you're fat, that means you're living the greatest life here in America. Basically, you're indulging yourself in the American way of life. Okay, and also them that are on somewhat of a status here in America. All right, but in order for them to even get there, they would have to submit themselves to Esau. Okay, so that's why the Lord is going to take away all those pleasures. All right, and just have these people in a low state, man, and just have them suffer to the highest level, man. Okay, because it's a payment for doing these things, man. It's a payment for having, indulging yourself in pleasure. There's a payment even along the lines of suffering. Okay, so on their end, since they love to live in pleasure, guess what? The Lord is going to pay them back with suffering, man. Okay, now on the other end, you have the men of the Lord, the men of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, that is suffering for the Lord Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. And the payment for that it is going to be our rest. Okay? So it's going to be a transition, man. All right? And we're not too far from seeing that transition. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and off on that note. I believe I pretty much hit the point, and that was, again, this spiritual thoughts in transit. Of course, all these things are being said through the Spirit. And, like I mentioned before in the previous editions, is that, since I'm on the road, I can only speak, and quote some scriptures that come to mind. Okay. But, like always, man, Lord's will, this was edifying to the ones who are tuning in to this lesson and this video. Again, before I end it off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory once again to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule us to this day. Shalom, peace and safety, and salutations to the hopefully elect that's laboring his work and continue to labor. Before your diligence to make your calling and election sure, and faith, true sincerity, and all charity. And with that, we'll say Shalom.